Here now with their reaction, our guest for today, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Randy Zellin, and trial attorney Rachel Kugel. Thank you so much for being with us. Rachel, I guess I'll start off with you first. The Supreme Court issuing that decision today. We just heard Kilmeny talking about it, about the Supreme Court ruling that it did not overstep, the North Carolina top court did not overstep its bound in striking down a congressional redistricting plan as excessively partisan under state law. Can you explain for the American people exactly what this means? Because a lot of people don't seem to understand, and how does it affect them?
So the question really was whether the state legislature just has carte blanche to make redistricting maps however they want with no oversight from the court, excuse me. And what the court said here is that that's not the case. The court does have the ability to step in. The state court does, especially in cases where there's like an obvious bias that's part of the redistricting plan. If it's super obvious like that, the state court can step in. What I think is interesting too is it really shows that, you know, all this concern about the partisanship of the Supreme Court, a lot of that is unfounded, right? Because these are decisions that went a way that no one expected. And even the quote-unquote conservative judges who dissented didn't really dissent on the merits. They dissented on the mootness and whether it should have been dismissed for mootness. So I think it says a lot about the independence of the Supreme Court and how they'll vote.
Yeah, and Randy, this assuages the concerns that people have that we're just going to end up with state legislatures around the country redistricting, making sure that their party, regardless of the state, it could be Democrats in one state, Republicans in another, will be able to redistrict everything so they get the overwhelming majority. If the state court says, no, you're not being fair, that's what's going to happen now. They're going to say, no, you got to go back to the drawing board.
Correct. To me, it's so strange. Look, thank God we live in a country where we can have debates and conversations, and there's just not one person saying, this is what we're going to do. But when you think about it from a common sense standpoint, if we all live in one district and the people in power decide, well, if we split these up 3-1, then we'll have the majority based upon politics, so we'll just redraw the map.
Well, that's going on.
And it's so weird that somebody thinks that that's okay.
But the issue was that the Constitution says state legislatures should be making these decisions. And so the question was, well, wait a minute. If it says so in the Constitution, the state legislature should be able to make that decision just like the Constitution says. But, correct me if I'm wrong, the court said, yes, but you have appropriate review by the judicial branch in your own state.
They tried to do it here in New York State. Remember that? They tried to kind of make a district where it was like all the way in like Upper Westchester, all the way down to the Bronx. It wasn't representative of the people. And then the courts thankfully sided.
Yeah, it was only representative of who wanted to win.
Exactly.
I think the court here left open the possibility that there is a case in which they would say, you know, the court can't step in.
Oh, there's no question that John Roberts said that. Well, we're not saying that the courts are now going to be the gatekeeper in every instance.
But they can.
But they can. We're not going to keep them out of the game.
Right. But the most excellent point, Rachel, that you made is the fact that this goes to show that the Supreme Court is bipartisan, is neutral. It's acting not basically just on political lines, if they're a conservative or not, just based on the merit of the case. And that is extremely important.
Yeah, because it wasn't 6-3. We had 3 conservative judges that said, you're saying that, were they saying they didn't have standing, or they saying this has been decided already?
Mootness. So what happened was, in the interim, while this case was pending, the partisanship of the state changed.
Oh, it didn't matter.
Right, and they were saying essentially that it became moot. Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Randy Zellin, Rachel Kugel, please stay around if you will. Let's get